Hey guys, it's Way here, and welcome back to another FIFA 17 Ultimate Team investing video. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the best players to invest in for next weekend's marquee matchup squad challenge. Now, bearing in mind these aren't normally on the weekend anymore. For some reason, EA bring these out on a Thursday, so you can expect this to come out around about the 8th of December. But there are a lot of decent investments, a lot of different games, and what I want you guys to comment down below is, do you want me to cover every single game that's going to be happening that could potentially be in the marquee matchups, or do you want me to just kind of cover the best no-risk investments? Because I know a lot of people have been going and picking up maybe some of the wrong cards and potentially losing out on some potential profit they could make and end up losing coins on some of the cards. So if you do want me to just kind of focus on the best players to invest in rather than every single game, then do comment down below. That's what we'll be doing today. Also, I do want to give a shout out to G as a Legend because he actually already does this. He shows, I think he actually shows both. He does one video where he shows all the games, and then he shows one where he kind of shows the best investments. So yeah, tell me what you want to see the kind of the most in the comments down below. I'll leave 2 comments and just like the one which has kind of the thing that you like the most. But I'm going to be showing you guys the best players to invest in. And yeah, the different games. We've got the final, I believe, of the MLS is the first one, which is Toronto against Seattle Sounders. I believe we've also got a really big game in Argentina, and as River Plate against Boca Juniors. Massive game in Argentina, probably the biggest game of the year over there. We also have Derby against Nottingham Forest right here, which is a really good one to invest in because there are just a couple of gold cards from each team. We've got Juventus against Torino, which is a big derby in Italy. We've also got, I believe, Sporting against Benfica in Portugal. There is also the Krakow derby in Poland. And finally, there is one more game, which is, I believe, AFC Wimbledon against MK Dons. So those are the ones that are kind of the best kind of no-risk investments. There are some other games like PSG against Nice and a few others. And I'll actually leave a link down below to G as a Legend's video that he has done on the kind of players who already play for those teams, so you can potentially invest in, but they're kind of not the best no-risk ones because there's a chance they couldn't be included. So I'll leave a link down below to his video. If you do go and check that out, tell him I sent you and all that stuff in the comments. But yeah, the best players to invest in. What you want to focus on, the game you want to focus on the most, in my opinion, is definitely Boca Juniors against River Plate. This game here, massive derby, and I really expect it to be in the marquee matchups. It's a huge game, and it's one that I just pretty much 100% guarantee is going to be in. 99% of the time, I reckon this is going to be in the marquee matchup. So you want to go and invest in gold cards. Now these cards there, I'm getting them all very cheaply. You can get them on bid, or you can get them on buy now. EA are likely to probably give you maybe 2 players from each team as what you need really to complete the challenge. So all you're going to need to do is just head over to the transfer market. If you head over to the Primera Liga, or the Primera División right there, and that is the Argentinian league, go to Boca Juniors. You can then either go to gold cards, and you can try and get them on a buy now. So as you see here, there are a few cards you can potentially get quite cheaply here and make some decent profit on, because you will be able to sell them for quite a lot more in the future, because these prices are always rising. Kind of over the next couple of days, they will be rising up even more. But as you guys can see right here, they're currently about 700 coins by now. However, you can actually get these cards on bid for like 500 coins or so. You can get a lot of these cards pretty easily on bid. You can just go and spam bids of like 500 coins on all of these cards, pick them up, and you should be able to make some nice profit. Their price will definitely go up because I do definitely see this being included. And you can also do exactly the same for River Plate right here. Whereabouts are River Plate? Yeah, here. You can do exactly the same with the River Plate. They go for like the same price when it comes to buy nows. But again, just spam bids on all of these cards for like 500 coins or so, and you should be good. You should be able to make some decent profit. Next up, the next game I would definitely recommend you guys investing in is going to be the game right here in League 1, which is MK Dons against AFC Wimbledon. Now this game here in Milton Keynes in England, which many of you who don't live in England, even people who live in England, many of you may not have heard of this game because it is in one of the lower divisions. It is in League 1, but there's quite a lot of history behind this, and both of the clubs really dislike each other. There's a big rivalry between them because I believe MK Dons actually bought over AFC Wimbledon a long time ago and actually made AFC Wimbledon go out of business. I don't even think it was that long ago, and they actually kind of just destroyed AFC Wimbledon as a club. They made them go bust and out of business, and then they played in exactly the same place. They actually formed as a team only a couple of years ago, but they basically just bought AFC Wimbledon and turned it into MK Dons. But then I believe fans donated money, and they managed to get AFC Wimbledon back, and now they're both in the same division. So it is a really big derby, and that's why I think it could be included, because the 2 teams really do dislike each other. But as you see here, there are quite a few different cards you could potentially pick up, and my transfer list is currently full, but you can get kind of either cheap silver cards. I mean, there are lots of silver cards you can get really cheaply for like 700 coins or so. One's actually already been bought, but you can get quite a few just on buy now pretty easily, and you can also get them on bid. No gold cards play for either team. But again, if you just get these cards for like 500, maybe 600 coins, you should be good. You should be able to make some nice profit. And also, I would recommend getting a couple of this guy right here. If you can get him for under 1,000 coins, it should be good because he's one of the few rare cards who plays for either team. And also, you do want to do exactly the same for MK Dons. And yeah, even though this isn't like the biggest of games when it comes to obviously two good teams, neither of these teams are that good. It's just a really, really big game because both of these teams really dislike each other. Really dislike each other. There we go. But these cards here are already selling for quite a bit. I bought mine like a day ago. The ones I already have in my club that I will show you, and they were going for a lot cheaper. But again, you can get these cards on bid pretty easily for like 700 coins or so, and it shouldn't be too bad. Also, I would recommend maybe getting a few players from different nationalities if you can. So these different Welsh players here, there are a few different ones, could be decent players to invest in. Now the next game is going to be in the Championship, and this is going to be Derby against Nottingham Forest. So if you go over to Derby, they have one gold card, and that is the player I would recommend you guys investing in. If you can get any silver cards very cheaply, I would also pick up a few of them. I mean, this guy here, you can get for like 200 coins. He's probably already gone now. You could just get all of these cards here. You could just have them, get a couple of silver cards, but you mainly want to focus on the gold cards. There is currently one gold player. He currently goes for around 1,000 coins, and it's Shackle. And you can get this guy very easily on bid for like 500 coins. So I will show you guys on my transfers to a whole load of cards I have got very cheaply. But yeah, just spam bids for like 500 coins on this guy. Should be good. You should be able to make some nice profit if he does get included, because he's the only gold card, so his price could go up massively. And Nottingham Forest, I believe they have two gold cards. And that is Kasami and also this guy here, Stojkovic. There's one on the market. You can get a lot of these cards very easily and just snipe them. And I mean, if these get included, they're going to go up. If this game does get included, these cards will go up to literally like maybe 5,000 coins, maybe even 6k. You can make so much profit if you get these cards. It could be like the Barcelona game and well, the El Clasico that I did in the last marquee matchups video. Some of you were picking up the likes of Alex Vidal for under 1,000 coins. He went up to like 8k. I did the same with him and Pacquiao because they made so much profit very easily. Next, we've got the Krakow Derby in Poland. So what you're going to want to do here is go to the Ekstraklasa right there. Then go to Wisla Krakow as the first team. And you just want to get some silver cards for the cheapest price that you can. So just get that guy there. Just kind of get some cheap players you can really. Try and get any cards for under 1,000 coins. Just maybe pick up a couple of the rare cards, one or two of them. And just maybe pick up like 5 cards from this team here, which is Wisla Krakow. And then 5 teams from the other team, which is, I believe... whereabouts is it? Cracovia. This is one of the best teams in Poland, I believe. And yeah, it's a really big game in Poland. It probably doesn't mean much to most of you in the rest of Europe or the rest of the world. Many of you won't have heard of this, but in Poland it is probably the biggest game of the season. Big derby between two teams in Cracovia. So yeah, really big game there. I'd recommend just getting maybe 5 cards from each team. Try and get them for around 1,000 coins or less. If they do get included, their prices will definitely go up a lot. Now the next game is in the Liga NOS, so in the Portuguese league. And this is Sporting against Benfica. Really big game in Portugal. I believe both these teams are in the same city. And yeah, they're also two of the best teams in the whole country. So what you're going to want to do here is just try and get some cheap gold cards. You can get a couple of the rare ones. I would recommend trying to get cards for under 1,000 coins. But maybe try and get a Jonas, because that will bring the rating up. So Jonas would definitely be a good card to pick up. But as you see here, just kind of get maybe a couple of each cards there. And yeah, you can get a few non-rare ones. Get a few rares though, because they are likely to probably give you kind of a rare limit, because this team here is quite big, so you might need like a couple of rare cards, because both these teams, as I said, are pretty big teams in Portugal. So it's similar to where last week we had like a 45k pack for the El Clasico. This game here is one of the biggest available, so it could be one that they do give kind of the biggest reward for. So I think they will probably give a couple of rare players that you do need to put into the team. So Jonas would be a good one, just because he does increase the rating of the team a lot as well, if you do need maybe an 80 rated team or anything like that. So just try and get some cheap gold cards from Benfica and a few cheap gold cards from Sporting. Very easy. Get a couple of non-rares, get a couple of rare cards, and you should be good, and you should be able to make some pretty easy profit. And also we do have a game in the MLS right here. And this is the final, I believe, of the MLS. And it is between two teams, obviously. And that is Seattle Sounders right here, so the first team. And all you're going to need to do is just get a couple of these cards there. You don't need to get too many, but this game is one I do see being included. Maybe get 5 of Lodiero. Maybe get a couple of this guy here, Avancic. And then maybe get a couple of other players like Dempsey, something like that. And yeah, it's a big game in the MLS. obviously the final. There aren't that many gold cards, so I would actually recommend looking maybe for defenders. You don't just have to go with gold cards, so look for defenders and maybe just get a couple of these guys here. If you can get one for like 500 coins, a defender from Seattle Sounders, you could be getting some decent profit. Do the same with midfielders, do the same with strikers, and just try and get some cheap cards there. You don't only want to focus on these two teams here. I believe the other one is Toronto. You don't only want to focus on these. You can also go with players just generally from the MLS, and also Josie Altidore is a great player because they do give you a kind of maybe 11 US players in your team. He's one of the few USA strikers on the game, and it either depends. They'll either go down the route, I'd have thought, of going with a lot of nationalities or just 1 or 2 nationalities. So maybe it could be 6 USA players at minimum, or it could be like 11 different nationalities. So I wouldn't recommend only picking up players from those 2 teams. Also just try and get some cheap gold cards. So Alonso would be a good one. He's actually just been listed up on the market. Hamid would be a decent one. You want some different nationalities in your team. There are a lot of different random nationalities you can potentially pick up, the likes of Usted as well. Morales, both of these guys right here, both Morales are from different nationalities, so lots of different cards you could potentially pick up, and yeah, just go and get loads of these different cards here for quite a cheap price, like 500 odd coins, and also get some cards from some of those other teams, and you should be good. You should be able to make some nice profit if this squad builder challenge does get included, and it's one I could definitely see being included since it is a pretty big game in the MLS. And the final game is going to be Torino against Juventus, so all you're going to need to do here is just go to the Calcio. You're then going to want to go obviously to Juventus and also to Torino. Go to gold cards and just try and get some really cheap gold players. You just want to get cheapest ones you can from both teams. I'd recommend going with quite a few Italian players because they could potentially go down an Italian route where you need Italian players like they did with the El Clasico, where you need the Spanish players, but also try and pick up players from other nationalities too in case they do go down a route where you need different nationalities. So the likes of Evra, Neto and Rajani are going to be the players you do see the most on the market. You can also get a couple of players like Mandzukic, who does also increase the rating quite a lot, being a high-rated player. And also I would recommend maybe getting Benatia again to increase the rating and add another nationality. Storaro does add another nationality from Italy, which is always good, so I would recommend going with him. And also, obviously, go with Torino. They don't have as many kind of rare cards. You could potentially pick up Joe Hart if you want, but he is quite expensive. But yeah, go with Bovo because he's a rare card. There aren't that many rare cards to actually play for Torino. But just try and get maybe a couple of each of these cards. Maybe get 2 or 3 Belottis, 2 or 3 Lopez's. You can get a couple of Bovos, a couple of Benassis. And yeah, you can just kind of spread it out, get 2 or 3 of each of these cards really. And this one here is a really big game. It is a big derby between 2 teams in Torino. And in Torino, there are actually kind of more fans, I believe, of Torino than of Juventus. A lot of Juventus fans are kind of spread out across Italy. And I think it's a really big game, not only when it comes to 2 pretty decent teams playing each other, because Torino are actually quite good. They have had a good start to the season, but it's also a game between there's a really big rivalry between the actual fans in the city, if that does make sense. But yeah, this is also a good game to invest in, and these are kind of the no-risk investments because you guys are going to be able to get these cards. They're very likely to be included. These are kind of the most likely players to be included by far, and you should be able to make some nice coins. I mean, you can get these cards really, really cheap. Just go to the minimum buy now. I have already picked up a lot of these cards. I will show you guys my club right now. But yeah, it's kind of no risk trading. There are some other games which I haven't included in this video here that I can do in future videos. If you want me to kind of show all the games, I can do that as well. But as you see here, we've got loads of players from Derby, from Nottingham Forest, from lots of these teams here got on bid. We've got players like this guy right here from Wisla Krakow, and they're going for 1,000 coins by going for just 250 coins on bid. You can get these cards really cheaply on bids. Same with this guy here, just 400 coins for him. And yeah, loads and loads of cards. Got that guy for 500 coins. He's currently going for like 1,000. Same with a lot of these players here. Got all of them very, very cheaply, so I'm just going to remove the expired players. I'll also show you guys my club quickly and my transfer list. Just show you all the investments I've currently got. This is actually my trading to Aguero account, which you will see kind of an in-depth video on pretty soon. But we have got Neto, we've got Rajani, D'Alessandro, he's a good card because he is a rare midfielder, one of the only rare midfielders for either team. Casco, and then we've got Belotti as well. We've got quite a few players down here. We've got Almiedo, we've got Stojkovic, we've got Padelli, Beto, Alario, we've got Moretti. You guys can see the prices I did pay for all of these cards there. Very, very cheap for the majority of them as well. Getting them for like 500 coins or so. You guys can see a whole load of different cards. Some of these are already invested in from previous squad builder challenges, which I haven't sold on yet, which weren't included. I'm just kind of waiting for their prices to rise a bit. But yeah, you guys can see all of the different cards I have invested in. Absolute ton of them. And yeah, you just want to go and invest in these kind of same cards as me. and you should be able to make some decent profit. Not all of these will be included, but the ones that I do definitely think will be included are definitely Boca Juniors against River Plate. That's probably the biggest game happening here. Also, the final of the MLS could definitely see that being included, as well as potentially the game. Well, you've got kind of those games that are kind of nailed on. I think Torino against Juventus is pretty likely as well. And also, another one that is pretty much nailed on is Benfica against Sporting. So the most likely ones are Benfica against Sporting. Also, the two other games I did mention, so the final of the MLS and also Boca Juniors against River Plate. And then there's one they could throw in, which is either going to be Derby against Nottingham Forest. It's either going to be the Cracovia Derby, or it is going to be AFC Wimbledon against MK Dons. So it could be any one of those right there. So I'd recommend just kind of covering those options. I don't see ones like PSG against Nice, despite them being big games, being included, but you guys can invest in players at your own risk from those teams if you do want. And also, if you do want to see a video kind of in more depth on all of the different teams included, then go and check out Gia's Legends video, link down below. Go and tell him that I sent you as well. But you guys can quickly see my transfer list as well, just as we end the video. So yeah, hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new around here, and I shall see you guys in my next video. Take care.